Doctor Who's long history, there are a few people who have worked both in the classic series and the new. So I'm delighted to be talking to someone who has done just that, having appeared alongside Sylvester McCoy, David Tennant, and Matt Smith. So I'd like to introduce actor Damon Jeffery. How are you?
Hi, Alex. I'm really good. I'm good.
Keeping yourself busy?
Yeah, been doing a lot of running. Ran from Bognor to Worthing the other day, which is about 22.5k, half marathon. Been doing some songwriting. I've got called The Ship Nearly Left Us Behind, which is having its first airplay this evening on BBC Radio Sussex and Surrey at 9:30 on the Upload thing. They do a half-hour thing every Friday night, local people sending in poetry, whatever, songwriting, etc. So they're playing my song, The Ship Nearly Left Us Behind, which is also available on YouTube, at 9:30. So yeah, that's exciting. Otherwise, acting-wise, I did this thing called Hunter's Moon at the start of the year, a 6-episode TV pilot, which we performed as a live table read performance, or script in hand, to industry professionals, big money men and women from the industry, you know, from British Film Institute, Sky, BBC, ITV, etc., Channel 4. And hopefully it will get made, written by a lovely lady, Micah Hale-Jones, who cast me as Detective Inspector Trevor Ramos, which is one of the lead characters. And hopefully it will get taken up, and fingers crossed, we'll see what happens. So that's the main thing I did earlier this year. Otherwise, it's been a bit quiet, as it has for everyone, in every walk of life. But yeah, I'm making the most of the lockdown, busy sanding a floor in a room next door for my kids to use as a den, and me put my keyboards in as well, maybe. So I've been keeping busy.
And a man of many talents, clearly. But one of those amongst your acting career was horse riding in Doctor Who.
That's
Having
right.
worked with 3 Doctors, is Doctor Who something that you were aware of before working on it?
Oh, I'd always been a big Doctor Who fan from a young age. I mean, I grew up with John Pertwee, as it were. He was my Doctor. Well, not personally, but but yeah, he's the Doc that my brother and I used to hide behind the sofa from when the Daleks came on. You know, black and white telly back in the 60s. But yeah.
So when you I imagine you've got a call through your agent to be in Survival?
Yes, I did. It was the Curse of Fenric that I got through an agent to be Russian commando. And that was great fun because we filmed in Hawkhurst Church. I forget the name of the church, but up on the tower there in Hawkhurst in Kent. And that was actually on my birthday. That was 12th of April. So that was a good birthday present, to be sort of like running around as a Russian commando on top of a church tower with these funny creatures, these scary things from the sea. And then once we did that, and then we were filming an old disused railway tunnel, which was good fun. And then of course down to Lulworth Cove, where these monsters were coming out of the sea. These girls had got taken over, and you know, and we were going out on ribs, which was great fun, out of Lulworth Cove, out to sea, and then came in through Stairhole, as it's called, and up onto the beach, and they were pumping all this dry ice across the sea. It was all very atmospheric. And then the way I got the part in Survival was I saw John Nathan Turner, God bless him, the late John Nathan Turner, walking his dog Pepsi, I think it was called. He was also in the episode of Survival. And I had a quick chat with him and just explained that I was, you know, trained actor, went to Guildford School of Acting, etc., and rode horses, because at the time I was living in the Hickstead show jumping ground where I met my wife, and she taught me to show jump and everything, and had horses herself. And then he said, well, we're using a horse in the next one. and it was the original Lloyd's Bank horse, Andalusian stallion called Fury, and that's how I got the gig, through just having a chat with John Nathan Turner on the beach at lunchtime. And
in terms of the Curse of Fenric, would you have been given a script, or were you sort of explained what those creatures were coming out at you, or was it simply, these are the scenes, this is what you needed to do?
Yeah, it was literally, I mean, there was just no script involved, just, right, okay, you're a Russian commando, here you go. And, you know, we're just reacting to looking for these monsters in the sea, and as you're going across on the rib, etc., and then running up through the church tower in Kent. So yeah, it was just great. It was just, you know, improvised acting. You know,
and of course you would come into contact with both Sylvester McCoy and Sophie Aldred for that. It must have been nice to work with them again on Survival.
Yeah, they were lovely. They're such lovely people, and got on really well with both of them. And it was just great being in their company, being part of it all. It was just a great atmosphere. Great place to be on location down in, you know, I mean, in Hawkhurst at the church. That was great. It's a spooky old church and graveyard. And I've been back to it since. I happened to be doing a driving delivery job, and I was driving back through Hawkhurst, and I thought, I must stop at the church. And I went in, and there was no one around. It was a summer's day, and it was really peaceful. And I just walked around the graveyard and looked up at the church tower. I thought, crikey, I remember and I saw the little wooden triangular pointy door in the church, and, you know, at the back of the altar sort of thing. And I thought, crikey, I remember running up those narrow stairs and with a gun and all of that, and then being out on the roof. It was great.
So in terms of the Curse of Fenric, am I right in thinking you knew one of your fellow soldiers outside of Doctor Who?
Yeah, that's correct. A guy, I've got the picture here, a guy called Vince. I don't know if you can see him there.
On the right.
Side. I'm on the far left, he's on the right. And it was sheer coincidence that his girlfriend at the time used to rent a room off me. And in sort of seeing him socially, I think he used to work at Butlins, if I'm correct. And he just turned up on the film set the same day, you know, on the Doctor Who set. So that was an amazing coincidence. And we were talking about a year or so later, you know. So I haven't seen him ever since.
I'd say a story that we touched upon, Survival, you had a bit more to do in that one. Yeah. You were not only a Cheetah person, but you also Dave, who is busy washing his car at the start of the story.
Yeah.
Was that a case of, they've got you in as a Cheetah person, we got this part, could you do that as well? How did that come about?
Yeah, that came about when I was filming Curse of Fenric, and had a chat with John Nathan Turner, as I said. And he said, well, we're using horses in the next one in Survival, and that's how I got that. And then I think they got onto my agent at the time and just said, we'd like to use Damon, and for dual roles. So I was like Dave, opening shot, man washing car, and then I was riding the horse later on. So effectively, as I was like washing in this shot here, here we go. Got it?
Yeah.
I was being chased out. I was having to react and look at the cheetah on the horseback that was rearing up as I'm like running away from it, kicking the bucket, as it were. And I'm being chased up the road in Perivale by effectively myself, because on horseback, you know. So yeah, that was funny.
And that story, you know, the beautiful cheetah costumes, were you brought in much before to have a fitting, or was it just a generic, you fit this costume?
Yeah, it was very, I brought them down, I got ready. This one, I'm on horseback on that one, and Lisa's on the other one. Can you see?
Yeah.
We had to go up to Harley Street, had to go for a full length, you know, full sort of fitting, had contact lens, had to go to a specialist in Harley Street for yellow contact lenses, and they only had peripherals, like pinhead vision. So there was no peripheral. It was a bit like blinkered horse, literally. And then with the teeth, they took a mold, went to a dentist up there as well. They took a mold of my teeth and made Dracula sort of cheetah fangs. Yeah, weird. And then the fitting, I forget where we went for the fitting, but yeah, it was all made to measure stuff because it was an all-in-one, pardon the pun, catsuit. But yeah.
And did you have much chance to get into the costume and practice riding, or was it just get on with it for the first shots?
Yeah, it was. You did have a bit. We were rehearsing round. We were filming at this playground in Perivale, and I was having to chase Sophie Aldred. So I can hear some talking outside. Put me off. Had to chase Sophie around the playground, and before we started, I wanted to, the horse was playing up a bit, and I just sort of took it for a canter across the green, to get to know the horse better, before having to rear it up and stuff, which was quite scary because you had to kick it forward and rein it back at the same time, and went bolt upright at 12 o'clock, and a couple of times nearly felt my point of gravity going back, and I thought I'm going to end up with like a ton of horse on me here, but managed to go up its neck and bring it back down. I got a lucky escape. Funny enough, one of the horses was called Lucky, Fury and Lucky. Yeah, I started off on Fury, and then ended up on Lucky, so we sort of switched. Yeah, but great fun.
And all those scenes, particularly of the cheetah people on the horseback, are so fast-paced, so iconic. They must have been great fun to be doing.
Yeah, and cantering. I remember cantering down, chasing one of the guys. I think it might have been David John at the time, down this moving chalk quarry, and then cantering after him. And yeah, it was great. It was a real buzz. And then I had to leap off, just jump off the horse, and and then sort of go into a fight sort of mode with another cheetah, or not one of the characters. It was great, but it was so hot. I mean, everyone. It was like 100-degree heats in Warmwell Quarry. Yeah, just looking at And funny enough, this picture I've got here is 12th. I've got these blown up. 12th of June, 1989, in Perivale. So if you can see that all right, was it?
Yeah.
And it was just sweltering. We had a couple of dancers, apparently, that she had a bit of a fit, claustrophobic sort of fit, and basically stormed off set. So she couldn't handle the heat, and that was the end of her, gone. Yeah, it was that bad, and especially because you had blankets on the horse. So the horse was sweltering, I was sweltering, I was wearing rubber riding boots, Dracula fangs, the contact, the pinhole vision, and in searing heat. So it was unbelievable. But at the end of it, we got back to the hotel. There was like swimming pool, and it was great getting in the pool, hot sunny afternoon, lovely. So yeah, it was all good. It was all good fun.
And whilst that was, in terms of story, the last story of the classic era, you also then found yourself working alongside David Tennant in Partners in Crime. Was that a surprise to get a call to come back to the new series?
Yeah, the Adipo one. That was weird. I just got a phone call from my agent, and off I went and did that. I mean, I didn't really have to do much on that, but I never actually got to meet David Tennant on that one. But it was, it's all great experience. To have been in 4 different Doctor Who stories with, was it 3 different Doctors? Sylvester McCoy, David Tennant, Matt Smith. Yeah, no, 3. But yeah, fantastic. Loved it.
Because a lot of your scenes in the David Tennant story was when the adipose are sort of activated and the streets are full of what I imagine realistically was nothing. It was all added on in post.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it was weird.
how much were you, again, told about the script, or was it just sort of look interested at the streets? What was the direction there?
Yeah, the director would just give you the rundown of what happens in the story, and at this point on action, we want you to look completely aghast at what's going on, etc. You know, so it's very much improvised sort of acting. You know,
but a more sort of featured part was in God Complex as the clown,
Yeah.
and I think that's a wonderfully sort of unnerving and sinister part.
Yeah,
I mean,
I loved it. Loved playing the clown in the God Complex. It was great. Funny story, when we were setting up in the hotel set was fantastic. I mean, just to have these flats either side, you look down the corridor, and then either side it's just, as you know, empty studio and cables everywhere, etc. And the director, Nick Curran, I think it was, off the top of my head, came in, and I was sat there. The prop guy came in, and I was sat there with the prop guy looped the red balloon around the finger on my right hand, I think, and I was just sat there. And then Nick came in, and I was holding it with between the fingers, the helium balloon. And then Nick came in and said, "Hi, I'm Nick," and I just automatically went hi, shook hands, and of course up went the balloon 60 feet up into the roof. And I said, "Can we get another balloon in, please?" So that was a good start. Yeah.
But a part like that, when you've got to convey emotion, there's a whole sort of background to that character. Is it more challenging when you've got no dialogue for that it's all got to be from a turn of their head or a look?
Yeah, he sort of conveyed what he wanted, like sinister clown sort of thing, but also quite a sad sort of lonely clown. So I was trying to put those two emotions together, to sort of give the right effect, and hopefully achieve that. But it was great working with Karen. I remember sitting in makeup, literally sort of next to the next chair, chatting away. And of course, my young kids said, "What? And you didn't get her autograph?" I said, "No, didn't think to ask." And look at her now. Yeah, good luck to her. Lovely girl.
But I was interested looking at some of your work. It's not
Yeah.
the first time you played a clown. You also were a clown in Trolley and Casualty. So is it often that you're cast in this part?
I think the Casualty one, which I did with Sylvia Sims, it was great working with screen legend like Sylvia. Fantastic. I think they just probably wanted someone with a bald head, basically, just so they could fit a wig on. And but she was terrific to work with, absolutely terrific, and I just developed. The director, Ian Barnes, just said, right, okay, in this scene, you're just sort of running around the site. It's all in her head. She's been on drinking this stuff. The paramedics go to the house. She's hiding behind the curtains, and they just see 2 feet sticking out. And she's paranoid, hiding from this imaginary clown that's only in her head. And she goes to the doorway, and then boom, there I am, sort of thing, and doing a sort of laugh whenever I appeared, So that was that, and just running around stabbing curtains and the cubicles. But yeah, great fun, great experience.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun playing various clowns on screen.
Yeah, yeah, and the trolleyed one, that was good fun. I did this film, Another Clown, Skippy Franco, which I did for third year students at Chichester doing their final piece, and I was there on a different capacity. I was there as a removal guy, the day job. Don't give up the day job. And we were moving the head of media at Chichester University from one office across the campus to another. And it was quite a funny story because my mate Jamie's, he said this guy's got all this film stuff, and there's a picture of Al Pacino and Scarface and clapperboards, etc. And he said, Damon, aren't you going to mention to him that you're an actor? And I said, well, I might do. And he said, well, I'm going to. And so he mentioned it. He said, hey, this guy's been in Doctor Who and stuff. And, you know, and he went, really? Oh, that's interesting. He said, funny enough, he said, my third years, they've just been let down. They're in the middle, they're just about to shoot this thing, their 10-minute film, which is on YouTube, Skippy Franco. And the lead guy's dropped out playing a clown. Don't suppose you fancy doing it, do you? And I said, of course I do. And he said, great, I'll phone the girls that are producing it. And whilst we were there, went and met up with these two girls that were producing and directing it and had written it. And now it's in the can, done it. It's on YouTube. So, and that was great. Playing this clown again. And then literally after half an hour later, after that initial interview with, you know, setting up, meeting them, we were sitting in the removal truck outside waiting for this guy to come back with the keys, caretaker chap, to get into the next place we needed to take these cabinets to, filing cabinets. And my agent rang up and she said, and I saw it as an agent calling, I thought, oh no, please don't say anything on the 4th of March because I was busy doing something. And she said, Damon, she said, how do you fancy playing a clown? And I said, well, that's really coincidental. I said, I've just got a part as a clown with a Cheetah College University thing, you know. She laughed. And I said, she went, Doctor Who. I said, you're kidding. She said, no, it's the clown in Doctor Who, the God Complex. And that's how I got the part in that. So 2 clowns within an hour. But I mean, I never trained as a clown. I never wanted to be a clown. It's just bizarre how it ended up. And then I asked the director of Trolleyed, Jonathan Gershfield, I asked him to watch the YouTube Skippy Franco, and I never heard anything from him, you know, for ages. And then got a phone call saying, do you want to, you know, got your part in this, playing a clown with a line, you got last couple of lines of the episode. So I was delighted with that. Because it was with this actor who played the security guard. I forgot his name, but he used to be in Bread way back and everything. Very well-known guy, Mark somebody. And I just had to literally say, excuse me, I'm looking for Leighton. And he'd say, oh, he's already left. And I just looked at him and went, bastard, and walked off. And that was it. The last line of the episode. So yeah, that was fun. But basically, Leighton, who played the shelf stacker, he was having to organise his mate Colin's stag do. Colin's sort of real sort of filthy character, and thought it would be great to hire a children's clown for his stag night. Ridiculous. So that was the end of that.
On the note of a variety of interesting and different clown parts, I think that's an ideal place to say thank you very much for your time, Damon, and long may there be more clown parts on the way for you.
Thank you very much, Alex. Lovely to talk to you.